How you doing, everybody? I got I got turned around a little on the. They have a new system for turning things on, and they were a little behind. Hey, Kyle, how you know something? Caliber 3135, and what's new? Uh, Today, what I want to talk about is the. Hi, Mike. Hi, Rhoda. Javier, how you doing? Us. As I said, how you doing, Mark? Hey, Mark. Okay, I guess some people said, "Well, we're going over to the dark side." You talking about um, Rolex? Rolex in the dark side. It's just another side. Just a lot of them. But today, hi, Julius, Mike, and that's something, Kyle. Okay. Uh, yeah, I got the right head attire on. Um, Most people think this is French. I'm a beatnik, I decided, from the old days. Hey, Klaus. Okay, Rich Buddy, welcome to the dark side. Oh, crappy, how's it going, man? All right. One of the things that struck me when I was, trying to find all the stuff I could on Rolex movement was in particular was this new spring that they have that's made of uh, um, Nobian and zirconium. Okay, now a few years ago, uh, Rolex got together with Swatch and Patek Philippe. Hey, Clyde, how's it going, man? Um, Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Swatch. They got together and they developed with a company called something like CERN, and they developed. Hey, Pete, they developed a silicon-based hairspring. Okay, now the problem with silicon hairspring, that Silex, or I forgot what they called it. They had some name for it, and so they started using it. And the problem with it is this: is that silicon keeps its shape, so you can't make adjustments, the fine adjustments that watchmakers like to make with a hairspring. And so, hey Jay, Tree, uh, I so they decided to, well, we're going to make one out of niobium and something else, zirconium. So anyhow, here we're dealing with a, a kind of thing that's saying, okay, so you have this, you need it bent. So who else is building hairsprings, and what are they doing? Well, one of the most interesting ones, and it's one I'm trying to find out more about, is, hey, Decon, let's see, Kaz, how's it going, man? Um, what I'm trying to find out more about is the, oh God, Clyde, we're going to get you one made out of titanium. Hey, Michael, how's it going? Um, okay, so the thing that I was trying to figure out, okay, so who else was doing something like that? And it turns out that H. Moser is. But the thing that's interesting about H. Moser is that they had made one out of niobium and titanium. It was a very strong hairspring and a very good one, apparently, because what else? They sell something like around, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 watches a year. They make something like over 25,000 hairsprings. And so the only one that we know for sure that uses them is MBNF. And and there's a feeling that a lot of other ones use them too. Now, uh, H. Moser isn't the only one making really good hairsprings. Uh, so is not Parmigiani, but the company that makes the movements makes the hairsprings for the movements for Parmigiani. That's owned by the Sandoz Foundation that owns all of this. And their name, they have a name like Apotheca or something like that, and they make the hairsprings for all of the things that make the movements for Parmigiani. Now, one of the more interesting ones, I think, is Bovet. Bovet makes their own hairsprings as well, uh, and I don't. They have this sort of a movement side to Bovet called Demier, and Demier is sort of a combination of some other things that Pascal Raffi bought when he decided he was going to sort of bring Bovet to the fore. And he sure did it. I mean, they won the Grand Prix, the Aiguille d'Or last year. I mean, that's like the top prize. As many prizes as Audemars Piguet has won in the Grand Prix, they've never won the Aiguille d'Or. Okay, hey Paul, how's it going? Tim, so what we're looking at is that, okay, maybe there's something to this. One of the ones that I'm not sure about is FP Journe. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I'm just not sure about it. The ones that I know for sure are Parmigiani as part of this vertical reorganized company they have, and Demier for Bovet, which is really part of the same thing. There's another one. There's another company. I forgot the name of it. That Harboring 2 uses for its hairspring. So when we're talking about hairsprings, I think there's two kinds that I like to separate. One kind has silicon in it, and the other one doesn't. And the interesting thing about Rolex, and I would say much to their credit, is that the Silex, or I don't know, whatever the name of their silicon based hairspring is called, maybe they had second thoughts about it, because on their newest movement, they got rid of it. In fact, what they said, at least this is what Rolex said in their own stuff, is that 90% of their newest movement, which is 3035 or 3055, one of those, I got so many movements in my head that they weren't it sounded like, boy, this is a big turnover in what they're doing. Now, as far as the rest of the movements are concerned, or the rest of the components of Rolex and some of these other movements, Rolex does have the perlage, and it has the beveling of the sides of their plates and bridges. Okay, that's, let's sort of makes them look nice. And there's some other things that actually they have very big functions, but especially Rolex, they're so waterproof with those oyster cases they keep them in, that a lot of the old problems where dust used to get in there to them, and the beveling helped stop corrosion. Some things like that are probably not as important as they used to be, but still, it's nice to have. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, let's see what's going on here. What are you guys talking about? Tim, Rolex makes a great watch. Okay, yeah, they said so, and I read it 1,000 times, so it must be true. Okay, hey Jay, I consider high-end movements to have at least a degree of hand finishing. Yeah, so do I, but you can't crank out. Hey, Franken Watch. You can't crank out what 1.4 million watches a year and have, unless you're dealing with slave labor or something. That's, I mean, you can do it, but I think that it wouldn't be as even, and it's hard to find people. There was a thing I read that Vacheron Constantin had, that they said to really, it takes to have a good finisher, and Vesron likes to talk about how good it is at finishing its watches, its movements. That it takes 2 years though. Just you take a guy who's a watchmaker, and then you train him for a couple years more just for the finishing. So it's not something easily done. Hi, Hamilton Juan. Strawman Hairspring, H. Moser at sea. Yeah, that's what they call it. They call it the Strawman. The one. What is the name of the one with silicon? They had Rolex had two. One was start Psycho X or something like that with the silicon one, and then the new one is, I don't know. I want to say pachyderm, but that's not the word for it. Okay. What's my favorite hand finish watchmaker? Boy, that's a good one. That's a good question. I like FP Jorn. I like Marco Lang stuff. And one thing with Rolf Lang, you can see it's hand finished because I don't think any two watches look exactly the same. That's what I like about it. Who else has a hand finished watch? Some of the ones that they have now are pretty reasonable. There's some German watches, quite a few as a matter of fact, that take they'll take a 6498 ETA 6498 and take it all apart and finish it up and put it back together again. It looks beautiful. There's this guy who belongs to our little group, the Pretentious Watchmakers, and David is his name. And he showed me this thing that he did himself. And he said, "Here's the instructions." And you get some stuff, and if you're pretentious watchmaker, we don't have a lot of stuff that keeps us busy in any kind of gainful way. It's a lot of fun. Hey, Beauty of Scent, how you doing? Okay, let's see. Yeah, FB Jorn I like a lot. Let me see. Chris Bettany. Hey, Chris. Yes, Hairsprings. Yeah, well, we were talking about that. Roger Dubois. Yeah, or Dubois, is that it? Yeah, he's his some of his stuff is that when Dubois left, I'm not sure whether he took his skills with him and didn't leave any behind. Uh, Paraflex shock absorber. Yes, Chris, that's made by Rolex. They seem to be very proud of that too. Um, I've seen it. It looks like the other shock absorber, but I'm assured that it's much better. I don't know why. Let's see. I think Rolex is into making a working man's watch. Yeah, yeah. He's working at the Ritz or something. I, you know, this is one of the great ironies about Rolex. Rolex gives all its money away. I mean, it's like, they have a lot of policies that really give the Rolex fans a fits. But they really do a lot of good stuff. They've been giving millions away. They give money to the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève, and they never enter a watch in it. I thought that was really funny. Uh, okay, let's see what else you guys have. Let's see. How are the self-assembled watch doing? Oh man, Kyle. I've been breaking movements left and right. I had this one watch. I had my military watch done. It was really great. I was going to send it to one of my sons, and I wanted to trim the stem just a little more. All right, everything was put together. Everything was working beautifully. So I took it apart and took the stem out and trimmed it and couldn't get it back in. So I broke it somehow. I probably unscrewed the securing screw a little too much, and some part fell down. And so I mean, being a pretentious watchmaker isn't easy. I'll put it that way, especially since we have no skills whatsoever. Some of the guys do, though. I'm really surprised. Pete's Timepiece Safari. What do you think about Eterna? That is one. In fact, Eterna Movements is one I've been looking into, and I think, in fact, I was tempted to buy a watch with an eternal movement and just to get to the movement. A lot of these movements, I wish somebody would come and say, "Hey, look, you guys are watchmakers. We'll send you movements." They don't have to give us the wholesale price on it, but they won't sell it to anybody. I mean, like, if you want to buy one Vaucheur, it would, like, let's say, a $1,500 Vaucheur, because they're pretty expensive. You can't. You got to buy 25, which means you've got to have what about $30,000 just to get one. Okay. Europe charities. Is that okay? As I said, oh my God, all the part one lost. Okay, wait, what are you talking about? What happened here? Um, Sports watches. Well, yeah, I, what happened with the price of Rolex is really funny because they're so popular and people like them so much, or some people do, that they jacked up the prices. Now, you take people like Roger Smith or even Philippe Dufour. When Philippe Dufour first took his first round of orders for the simplicity and the duality, I think it was like $20,000. And if you can find one now, they're like 150,000. Um, on my resonance with the brass uh, plates and bridges, that was back from 2002 when FP Joint was just getting started. That thing is worth about 4 times what I paid for it, and I don't want to sell it. I really enjoy it. So I don't know. Blake, hey Blake, how you doing? A new Jake Gus is almost 8 grand with tax. Yeah, these things. Yeah, we're talking about. We're sort of getting off the topic about the price of watches and how they change in price. I think what the important thing is to focus on is that, okay, so what are we getting in the movements and where can we get them and how good are they? One of the things that I found out working with both ETA 6498s and 6497, as well as the Siegel knockoffs of the same watch, they're ST 36, I think, and 3600, something like that. They're pretty good. I mean, I don't know whether they have any lubricants in them or not, and that may be a skill to develop. But I put them on the time grapher, and they're right in there. Um, so it's not that you can't, and they go for, like, I think you can get them at like $30 a pop or something like that. And at the rate that I break them, they better be cheap. Okay, what else you guys have? Okay, let's forget about money and resale value and all of that because that's got nothing to do with the quality of the watch or the movement. All right, so let's see. How do we measure this? JLC is a watch connoisseur's watch. Okay, Turner invented the use of the ball bearings on a winding rotor. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I don't like rotors, but I like hand wound. Okay, secondhand springs, mini springs, screws. All right, let's see what you guys are up to. I saw a platinum JLC last week for less than 11K. So what? Come on, let's talk about movements. Pete's timepiece. Zenith El Primero is my favorite movement. Beautiful, reliable, heritage, best bang for the buck. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. You know what, though, Pete? I like the Elite. The Elite by Zenith, I like a lot. And so that's the way it goes. What do I know? The ones that I like the most are the hand wounds. Hand wound, there's something about a hand wound watch that I really like. In fact, this whole series of watches with the 736 movement, the Jacquet 736, the reason I like them is that they're hand wound. That's one of the reasons. They're also very interesting watches. Um, I, the thing of it is that the automatics are very practical in the sense that somebody wants a watch, they put it in a winder or not, or get one that will stay wound overnight and then wear it every day to work, like an office watch or something like that. Yeah, those are very practical watches. But that's fine. There are a lot of very practical watches that are not that expensive. You look at the Hamiltons, and they make nice watches, and Tissot, same thing. You can get a nice office watch from them. Now, if you say, well, you can, the ones that they have for Rolex are really great. Um, okay, so how do you know that? How do you know that they're that great? Well, I have one. Well, do you ever have a Hamilton, or do you have one of these or one of these other ones? I've got some of the few automatics I have. I have two Parmigianis, and I wish I had the Hebdo de Mare hand wound one. So one I don't have. Well, I only have two to begin with. I like looking at different kinds of watches, and the ones I like are hand wound. If you're going to be a watch collector, that's what you want to do, is hand wind the things. And there are other kinds of issues with automatics that just aren't as attractive. Okay, what do you think about the automatic movement in the brigade tradition versus the manual wound? Okay, the brigade tradition is, see, the thing about the brigade tradition that I like is that the rotor looked like one that Abraham Brigade made. That's sort of a cool one. But if I had a choice between a hand wound and the automatic, I'd take the hand wound any day. I mean, a hand wound watch is something that you can become more involved with every time that it needs winding. Like this guy gets wound once a week, and so I just sit around and wind it. And it's since it's a weekly, it's not something I get to do all the time. These other watches, though, that I have that are hand wound, I've got a bunch of watches, and I like to wear them all. And so the thing is, they sit in the case, and then their turn comes up, and I'll wind them up and spend some time with them and look at them and polish them and get them all looking cool and everything. And but with this guy goes into the winder, and I wear it on walks a lot, and so it gets wound. But I'm afraid if I don't keep it in a winder, something's going to happen. Well, I just said, heck with that. I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to keep it in the case with the other watches, and I'll wind it by hand. Uh, okay, good. Hey, Kyle, that's the way to do it. Put your hand wound on. I'll take my automatic off. Okay. Wish you had enough money to buy both. Blake, I tell you, keep looking. There's something will come along. Winders kill watches. I bet you're right, Deacon. Yeah. Hi, Nicola. Uh, what's up? Christopher Ward, SH21. Yes, I love the SH21. Beautiful movement. It really is. It's the other thing. One of the things I like about it is the way they present it. Flip that old Christopher Ward over with a SH21 in, and you see a really nice looking movement. That's one of those ones that every now and then I'm tempted, what the heck, I'll just go get one. but I'm trying to save for another watch. I got a watch that I'm on a mission for, like what was that movie? The Blues Brothers were on a mission. I'm on a mission for a watch, and I've been saving for it. And I got a heck of a good deal on it. The trouble is that the guy only takes cash, so that's all right. I'll save. Okay, are you a Sky Dweller fan of squat? Sky Dweller caliber 3135. I really like. I like the looks of that. I think that's a dual timer too. Um, oh, by the way, this is like somehow it became Rolex week for me. The guys, we're going to be looking at a collection tomorrow, mostly Rolex, and it's I mean, a lot of them too. A lot of them are the same. This guy just loves Rolexes, and he's got a heck of a collection too. He's got a couple in there that aren't Rolexes, but for the most part. So I thought, well, This is going to be Rolex week. Okay. I can shut up about that. I can't shut up about. Hey, Tippy, what watch can't you shut up about? The overpriced Hamilton is great with a hand wound movement. One of the best vintage releases. Yeah, that sounds a good one. You know, one that I like a lot is it's that funny one. I've mentioned this before. It was called it's a Tissot Heritage something something something, and they put in uh, what is it, 6498 Unitas. Unitas 6498 now it's an ETA. Uh, and that watch I really like, but the backstory on that, when they first came out, they had a little sign in there that said anti-magnetique. You know, they put it in French because that's the language that they probably spoke. And so I just thought, wow, what a cool watch. And it was only like 900 and something bucks. And so I thought, wow, this is neat. But then they found out it's not anti-magnetic, but that was sort of the heritage of the watch. So they took off the anti-magnetic. There's got to be some floating around somewhere. I would love to find one. And that's a hand wound, and you just winding up a 6498. This guy just finished winding him. It's not hard. I mean, and it'll be wound for a week. And this is a fun watch. It's easy to set too. It doesn't have a calendar in it. What time is it? It's 3:58. So, it's something that I could do stuff with. And okay, now it's all set and ready to wear. So I can. My wife and I are going out tonight, so I'll put on my Bovet. Be a Bovet evening. Hey, next week, what is today? Saturday. A week from today and a week from yesterday is the Watch Time show. If you're in the New York area and you possibly can, try to get to the Saturday one. The Friday night one is all sold out already, but they do have tickets for Saturday. Okay, Alton in the house. Hello, Alton. How you doing, man? We're about ready to wrap things up. What Deacon? Let me see. You want to buy the stock that doesn't move? Okay. How about the Rolex 7040 movement? 7040. What? Rich buddy, what is the 7040 for? Clyde, in case I run into hit the gym, don't give him my drink order. Oh, it's the Prince. Oh, yes. Yes, the Prince. But the Prince is the only thing that disappointed me about the Prince. It's 4 Hertz. I thought for sure that was a 3 Hertz movement, but I found it's a 4 Hertz. But that's okay because it's a beautiful movement. This is one of the things that um, that I think that Rolex could do, but they don't, and make more movements like that. Here you have a movement that you have an exhibition window for. You can see this beautiful movement, and I think it's the only one that I know of where on the back the I guess I don't know what it's like, sort of the engraving is carried over to the design on the front. It's just those guys made this super cool watch, but I guess Rolex buyers didn't care for it. Pretty ladies were wearing Rolex though. Look, yeah, let's see. Lower. Why do I enjoy the lower or Hertz pieces? Kyle. I think we did a video on that a while back. One of the things, Kyle, is that what I found is that all of the top watchmakers make watches with lower Hertz speeds. There are a lot of advantages to it. One is that they're not going to tear up your movement as quickly. Two, you have to have a little finer something in there to have a lower Hertz. Let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, you can see the balance wheel swing back and forth. There's a one of my videos that I did. In fact, it was almost exactly a year ago that I did it, and because I interviewed all of these top watchmakers at the Watch Time show, and they all use this slower hertz, not 3 hertz, but 2.5 hertz. Kerry Wooten Lonan. Who else did I talk to? Rex Heavy. I can't say his name. He makes Acavaria watch one. But when you look at all of the winning watches, a lot of them have below 4 hertz and sometimes down to 2.5 hertz. This is one of the ironies. If you look at the Unitas 6498-1, that is running at 18,000 um, ticks per hour, vibrations per hour. Actually, they're semi-oscillations per hour. That's 2.5 hertz. The 6498-2 is 3 hertz. So both of those movements, I mean, it's also probably why they're a favorite, I think, of a lot of guys, who sort of taken up the hobby of making watches. Okay, Breguet has a Type 22 running at 10 hertz. Yeah, yeah, they have. Now that one though, the caliber 3135, what they also have that thing suspended in midair by magnets. That thing is cranking out 10 hertz, but they got this incredible. Instead of having a pivot that like a ruby pivot like most of them have, they have magnets that keep the thing suspended. I mean, it's sort of like you're beating your donkey. Give me 10 hertz. But that one was with the sort of the Star Trek movement on there. Is really a cool watch. I mean but everything else has sort of got to keep up with it. The whole the fork, the pallet fork, babbity babbity bam. Okay. Uh, then you've seen a Zenith and Venner move. Yeah, they got one too, Tippy. I mean, it's like they got these hummingbird movements like that. Those are okay. I just don't, it's sort of like, yeah, you can make them go faster, but you can't make them even begin to approach, what you're going to get with a quartz. This is why Grand Seiko, with their spring drive, all they're doing is providing electricity to run a quartz. What fun is that? I mean, it's okay. It's sort of a cool idea, but I don't know. Hey, Jure, how you doing, man? Um, Mark, how's it going? Uh, Flipping Zippo, beating a donkey would hurt. Yeah, it would hurt the donkey too. What do you think it does to your watch? You're wearing a donkey. Uh, let's see. I'm trying to think. This, I think, is so many Parmigiani. I think a little, they're 4 hertz. Bovet, though, is 3. My Jacquet 736 is also 3 hertz, 21,000. I don't know about this guy, my perpetual, what's that called? Regulator, my perpetual regulator. I'm not sure what that thing runs at. It could be at 3 hertz. I'm not even sure. But yeah, you can make them run faster, but what's the point? I mean, if you want something that runs faster, use your iPhone. That thing will keep it up, or get a quartz or something. Okay. We've never seen a 0.5 hertz. There's a company that makes a 1 hertz watch. Forget the Antoine Martin Slow Runner. Yeah, that's it in a something. Now that's a watch that would have me interested. The other thing is, and this is a good thing about Rolexes, by the way, for you Rolex fans, they've got nice big balance wheels. And you say, why? What good is a big balance wheel? Well, it has greater inertia, which means greater stability. And you take a look at Kerry Wooten Lonen's watches, they got these giant, giant old, and the thing is running at 2.5 Hertz. What a beautiful watch, man. Yeah, those things are 70,000 bucks, so I don't have that. Um, I know that Clyde does. He has several of them, but not, you know. Okay, my Parmigiani runs at 3 Hertz. Yes, yeah, Clyde, you got one of the neatest watches that Parmigiani makes. And that's the Hebdo Damari, which is, I probably said it wrong. I've been saying it wrong for years, but that's it's actually an 8-day watch, and I think it means weekly in French, and I keep mispronouncing it. My IWC Engineer 3227 has a reliable, accurate 8110 movement. They say it's in-house, but I think it's actually ETA based. I'm sure it is. This is one of the things about, we've been talking about this. We've been seeing some of the worst political junk I've ever seen in my life. And everybody's lying. They're just lying like they shouldn't be lying. And then we shouldn't accept it from watchmakers either. Hey, I was we had a little chat going before I came here, and we're thinking, let's have a heroes medal for honest dealers and watchmakers. We'll use one of those old Soviet names, the hero of the collection, watch collectors, and make a medal and give it to them for being honest. But man, I tell you, it's something that so many people even defend, even watch collectors. Oh well, it's not so bad. It is bad. You shouldn't. If you're going to sell something, it should be honest, and that's important. To me, it is anyway. Okay. Hey, Cass, how's it going, man? Mark, and that's something. Okay, yeah, Hero de Horology, Cass. That's great. He'll get him a big medal with maybe a hat. That would be a great idea. Hero of the Horological Union. Yes, that would be it. We'll have, if for every time they sell, we'll give them a bunch of medals and they can look like a Russian general. That would be cool. Hey, Howard, how you doing? Not chip in for Tomb of the Unknown Honest Watchmaker. Yeah, that would be a great one. Okay, well, listen, hey, Moody, we got to run now. Date night for me, and I hope for you guys too. I hope you have a good weekend. And tomorrow, you're going to see the biggest Rolex collection I've ever seen. And of course, I haven't seen that many, but this is a good one. I think you're going to like. Take care. Hasta la vista.